Hey, man, thanks for getting your pod on. This one's a little different. I love doing the one-on-ones, so every once in a while we'll do that. This one today is with a Rochester legend whose business is known around the world, Armand Schaubroeck from the Great House of Guitars. And the conversation, much like the Great House of Guitars, it's like meandering the aisles, but there's a lot of treasures in this conversation. So I hope you enjoy it. But first, Iron Smoke Distillery. Would you believe it if I said I just poured a glass of the legendary Applewood Smoke Whiskey from Iron Smoke? Oh, so good. Carefully handcrafted, aged to perfection. Absolutely delicious. You can see all the incredible handcrafted spirits they create, including Rattlesnake Rosie's chocolate peanut butter pie, which is amazing. And you can see them all at ironsmokedistillery.com. Iron Smoke is also one of my favorite places to hang. Order up a craft cocktail made with all the Iron Smoke spirits. I'm a big fan of the Peacemaker. You know what it is? I drink what I am not. Tonight, you can catch Steve Bartolotta's All-Star Jam. It's always a lot of fun because you never know who's going to pop up on stage with Steve in the All-Star Jam. Tomorrow night, Friday night, get to Iron Smoke for happy hour and the acoustic sunset sessions with Tyler Norton. What a way to usher in the weekend. Just hanging out, having a craft cocktail, listening to Tyler. And then a favorite of many, Jumbo Shrimp taking the stage, the main stage at 8 o'clock Friday night. Iron Smoke Distillery. You know where it is? Fairport, New York, baby.
Connors and Ferris, committed to service.
Call Connors and Ferris at 262-COMP today.
Comedy at the Carlson has the best medicine for your life. It's called laughter. You should be laughing every day. You know those stupid signs you buy at Target? Live, love, laugh. Well, it's important. You need to laugh. Tomorrow and Saturday night in the main room at Comedy at the Carlson is the really funny and very relatable Matt McCusker, who co-hosts a great podcast, Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast. And also Saturday night in the Rickles Room, a buddy of mine who will be on the pod tomorrow from New Zealand, Steve Wrigley. Steve brings that Southern Hemisphere humor. You're going to love it. And by the way, this is part of Steve's warm-up for a new comedy album he's going to be recording next month in October. Remember, laughter. It's the best medicine. Live, love, laugh. You can do that at Comedy at the Carlson. Tickets and showtimes at carlsoncomedy.com.
On location and driven by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
Well, hello and welcome. Thanks for getting your pod on. Thanks for telling a friend. That's how we support the pirate ship and spread the word. Speaking of pirate ships today, I am in the legendary store that ate your brain, the Great House of Guitars with Armand Schaubroeck, the co-owner.
How's it going, my friend?
It's going really well. You know, it's funny to me because you look around here and it's like an organized chaos.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
I remember coming in here asking for albums and people would just sift through and within seconds you'd have it.
Yeah.
You'd have it. And I was telling you before we started, like one of my first experiences when I came to Rochester, I went to St. John Fisher University, was coming for a midnight release for the Pearl Jam imports with my roommate.
Oh, yeah.
Back then. But you have built something. Do you think of yourself as iconic?
No, I don't look at it that way, but I mean, the store itself is world renowned. We know that.
Yeah.
And we were kind of planning that we were gonna get pretty big in the beginning.
You were.
But we started out very humble. We were pretty broke, and in the early days, we had to sleep behind the amps because we couldn't afford insurance, for the store, and we'd wake up in the morning when somebody was just knocking at the door. And but
now where was that? Because you originally was in your mom's basement,
right?
Correct,
right.
But I feel like the whole idea has been to sort of, in a way, I don't want to say buck the system, but almost to be kind of that rabble-rouser, only in that the other guitar shops at the time weren't allowing you to play.
Right.
You couldn't touch the equipment.
Right.
And you guys went, well, that doesn't work.
Right. And they were kind of like jewelry stores, look but don't touch. And if you're young, you got to come back with your parents. They're not going to give you any attention at all.
Yeah.
But they, and then when you got there, they took down a guitar. They didn't have a lot of them. They had a few good ones, and then they put it down on a little rug in the glass case. Then you could just look at it, and they'd talk price, you know.
And that was it, but you couldn't pick it up, hear what it sounded like,
No, you
feel like
couldn't.
what it felt in your hand.
Definitely couldn't. They didn't usually even let you touch it, but definitely wouldn't plug you in, you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in the cellar of my mother's house, there's young kids all over the cellar pounding through big amps, you know. It was total opposite. And they didn't like used coming in, so you couldn't trade in back then because they thought the used would make the new look bad.
Yes.
But we didn't care. We were trading everything for anything. We're totally changed what a music store was, you know?
Yeah. Almost anti-establishment in a way. Would that be fair to say?
You're probably right, but we weren't aiming for that.
No.
It's just that we were
You
young.
knew what
we were
people
young
wanted.
ourselves, and you know,
Yeah. So from there, and eventually you came to the location we're at
yes.
in what, 71, 72?
Around then,
So that's like,
we had some trouble getting the building, and
why was that? Because of who you were and what you were doing? Not who you were, but more like they didn't want music in here, or
they kind of like stores that just worked with Arundecoit itself, you know.
Okay.
But they didn't like stores that would draw from all over.
yeah.
And, you know, and they were even
they were-
nervous on hippies, and hippies were just college kids, most of them, you know.
But you weren't a hippie.
No, I wasn't a hippie.
I
no.
always think like you were more, maybe I'm wrong, but I always got kind of a 50s vibe.
Yeah, I grew
from
up
you.
in the 50s.
Yeah, so that kind of rockabilly music you played. I've seen you play. I saw you out here.
Oh, yeah.
At I Square, jump up, and I was blown away. I went, oh my God, I had no idea.
Oh, thanks.
I didn't know you played. But were there bands and things growing up? Were you part of bands?
Yes. I had one of the early, well, I recorded when I was like 15 years old on South Avenue, when South Avenue and St. Paul kind of meets.
Yeah.
And it was like 6 floors up at Vince Jan's studio. And I remember I had to wait until Gene Cornish, one of his local bands, was recording. And then afterward, I went up with my little Supro guitar. It's an electric guitar, but inexpensive one. And I did Showdown and Roaming Deer, like DEAR. You know, I did my 2 songs and left with an acetate, you know.
Wow.
And then I had friends like voted up. Remember BBF used to have that call in where you
Yeah,
get.
you could call in. So you had your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
I spread the word. I would even.
Hey, you marketed yourself.
I'd call around and like I'd sing for one girl over the phone, and then she'd give me another friend and another friend. I'd be singing my song one-on-one.
Wow. Well, it's like a politician. You got to go door to door.
Yes.
Shake hands.
Yeah, and then they all voted and liked it, and then Nick Nixon called me, and then I went up to BBF, and then he says, it's good, but I can't play it. It don't have a BMI or S-Spec.
Oh.
Because I was only about 15,
Why wouldn't they
16.
do independent stuff anyway?
I don't know, but he said we can't play it without one or the other, and I just left wondering, bewildered. What is it? BMI?
Yeah.
What is the aspect?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Right. Because it's just the way that they were making money. Pretty
It's
much.
like 1958.
Yeah.
You know, it was around then. So, but then I got Arundecoit when it first had the radio station in Arundecoit. They played it in homeroom, and then I got a lot of attention after all day. You know.
Oh, so there was a
radio
low power radio station here
In
in the high school, maybe
the high school.
In the high school, so they played it there.
WRIQ. Yeah.
Now it's amazing what a guitar and a little talent can do when it comes to the female persuasion.
Well, rock and roll was brand new, and I don't think any of the DJs liked it at all. So,
Oh, really? Yeah.
I mean, they liked what they were playing before, you know.
Yeah.
How much is that doggy in the window, the one with the waggly tail? and
Yeah.
Songs like that, you know.
So when I started in radio, it was the original hits of the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Oh, wow.
In Poughkeepsie.
Yeah.
So I started playing all that stuff, which was I mean, ancient music to me at the time.
Yes.
But it was this stuff. So yeah, you're really in a groundbreaking time, musically and everything.
Yeah, they're like, if it stinks, it might make it.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't like it.
Yeah, but that was the idea, and you kind of knew what the youth wanted.
Yeah, I was only about 17 years old. So.
Oh, and how old were you when you started?
Oh, I was younger than that. I was 16, 15. Yeah. Then, yeah.
When you started the store, what were you, about 20?
20, yeah.
20.
Yeah.
And you had lived here. What were you doing prior to that?
I graduated from high school, but I got in trouble as a kid, and then I was sent up to Elmira Reformatory for 3 years, but I did a year and a half inside, and then I was paroled back to Rochester.
Okay.
And I worked at Skip's Meat Market on Front Street and Main Street.
Yeah.
There's Bullhead.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot from Mr. Lombardo. He's passed away now, but he gave me a job from inside there, and you need one to get out. And then I learned a lot from him. And then I started the House of Guitars at the same time in the basement of my house. But back then it was only open sporadically because
Sure.
I had to work.
So
And
you had this at your house. Where were you getting the guitars from? Were you purchasing them from like Gibson?
I wouldn't spend no money on myself at all. Everything went back in the store, and we would just keep buying used from band members that were selling them.
Oh, and so then you would. So you were flipping guitars. Today they call it with flipping cars and flip. You were buying like used equipment,
Yes.
and that's a great
But
idea.
we were buying new too.
Buying new too, right?
Yeah.
When you could, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're working at Skips.
Yeah.
And you're on parole.
Yeah.
Which is a whole thing because you got a
Yeah.
parole officer and all that.
Right.
May I ask what got you up to the reform school?
Burglary. I
Yeah.
committed a burglary in West Arundecoit.
They catch you?
They
Obviously.
never caught us at the scene, but one of the guys with us, I wasn't in on that one, but he hit a gas station and broke in. Never no violence. It's
Yeah.
always at night. But he broke in and he stole a timing light and some tires or something. But I wasn't on that one. And he found out a kid owned it, and we never stole from other kids. So I told him, well, just throw it on his lawn and, take off. And he walked up to him and told him.
Said, "Hey man, I robbed your store, but here's your stuff back." Is
Yeah.
that what he said?
Yeah. And that guy, the cops picked him up. Well, anyways, I guess he was in a little trouble too. And suddenly he showed up back at the station with the timing light that was on the hot list.
Okay.
And then they broke him.
Oh, so they broke him even though he owned the store.
No, he didn't own it.
Oh.
He just worked at a gas station.
Oh, so he worked at it. So they go, "Hey, here,
This was on the hot list.
Yeah.
What are you doing with it?
Right.
Thought it was stolen.
yeah, man, and so they get seems like a lot of time for nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, look what's happening
you're right.
today in the city,
Yeah,
Arvin.
they wouldn't do nothing.
No, nothing.
It's a nonviolent crime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And all the places we're hitting are insured. And usually almost every time when in the papers, they claim we took way more than we took.
Of course. You got to make it sound good. You got to sell papers, Armin. You know how that goes. That's interesting. So out of that, you come back. Now, you're a parent. I'm a parent.
Yes.
If that happens, mom worried? Dad worried about you in the future? What are you going to do? Did you get those speeches or did it?
My father was a permanent member in Canandaigua Hospital since the war, World War II.
Okay.
So I didn't know him that good because
Yeah.
you weren't allowed in unless you were 16 or older.
Okay.
So if he felt good, he'd come out near the car and we'd see him a little
that'd be
bit.
tough.
But we didn't really know him that well, but we liked him and loved him, but
Yeah.
but not close.
Sure.
It was kind of weird.
Yeah, that is. And tough, I would assume.
Yeah. And he'd try to make it on the streets, and then he'd have a crack up. In the middle of the night, he was walking around with a knife, making crow sounds. He worked as a sniper or something, as a Marine.
So was
And
that like a signal to signal?
Yeah, like the two snipers in the
Yeah.
trees would call back and forth
Right.
to each other. Anyways, he's like sleepwalking, looking for Japanese and making crow sounds. So,
Wow.
he'd have to go back.
Man, war is just
war's ugly.
yeah.
Nothing pretty about it. It's
No.
arms and heads flying.
So out of all that, you kind of do you wind up sort of being, I would assume, mature at an early age. Is that fair to say? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like independent.
Because my mother worked.
Sure.
She had to work because.
You got to feed everybody.
Yeah. Well, we got a government check, but it was very small, but it had to be just spent on us. And she couldn't pay for her house that her and her husband bought with the money.
Okay.
So she had to work to keep the house.
Yeah.
And then we had social workers all the time on us. Like they even took my brother away and put him in a foster home for a while. Because I wasn't old enough to watch him, according to them. But, it ended up we were getting hostile. And the social workers back then weren't like today's where they're really trying to help you. Back then they were, looking for kids to take away and they're pretending they're reading a newspaper in front of your house in a car.
So is it fair to say, like, you made lemonade out of lemons, right? I mean, when you think about that beginning and all the things that could have gone, how angry you could be, all this stuff, every time I've run into you, you just seem pretty laid back, pretty happy.
Yeah.
And everything seems to be working just fine.
Yeah. I'm not proud of that I stole or anything.
I'm a kid.
I'm embarrassed about it.
I'm sorry.
No problem. No
yeah.
problem.
But I mean,
it's all over.
You're a kid. I mean, I got arrested as a kid for a fake ID. And, I mean, this stuff happens. I understand. So then from there, you wind up, the store keeps growing and growing in popularity. What do you think it was that got it? Because I would say this is internationally known, the Great House of Guitars.
Yeah, it is all over the world. I mean,
so what's that? Like, if you were to teach, let's say, I'm surprised, and maybe you have been brought in to teach a business course in a way to say, what is that one thing that sets you over?
I don't know, our attitude, like, we ended up with morals, self-morals, that, you know what I mean? Like, if I really found a wallet on the ground, I was no longer that kid at 17. I would try to find out whose it was, and I wouldn't want to take it, you know what I mean?
So you think that, like, just good business practices?
Yeah, and being fair all the time. We were the first to discount instruments, too, because we had low upkeep in our early days, and they wouldn't go down a dime back then, the other music stores.
Yeah.
And we would cut it, I could cut it in half. I could cut it 40% and still make $50.
So this is funny to me, but it almost feels like your upbringing, kind of where you didn't have a lot.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, the House of Guitars now, right, you can find anywhere on the internet what the annual income or whatever is. But I think you've always kept that mentality of, I don't need a lot. I don't need a lot. And that helped you kind of help the customer.
We were actually happy. My brother Bruce and my brother Blaine, at times he'd be working at the store. But we were actually happy when we were struggling in the early days, when we were sleeping in stores and
that's funny.
And if we sold a guitar, we wouldn't spend that money. If I gave a couple lessons, I'd take maybe friends that are hanging out helping. I'd take them across the street and buy them a cup of coffee and a hamburger. We were spoiling ourselves.
Right.
But only music lesson money, never something that came out of a sale. All that went right back, kept building more and more product.
So this, I mean, it's slowly over the years. When do you think it really took off? Was it the 80s, the 90s? Was it those TV commercials you did when your eyes were glowing and you're hopping around with the bunny ears? And
by then we were exploding.
Yeah, you were exploding. I mean, those ads are iconic. And what I love about it is, and this is the one thing I think for everybody that's so important, is authenticity.
Yeah.
You are who you are. You didn't ever try to fit into anybody else's mold. You were always just Armand.
Yeah, I have an odd sense of humor.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But we like people. We love our customers.
Yeah.
A lot of them are actually friends. They've been shopping here for almost 60 years,
Yeah.
So, it's waiting on a buddy,
But then you've gotten, I mean, to the point where, I mean, that wall back there has
all the autographs.
Autographs that people would be, just love to have themselves. Steven Tyler signing the wall. You got Ozzy was a big thing in here.
Yeah, he did 3 in-stores, once with Randy Rhoads, and he came back with Motley Crue. We had Motley Crue and Ozzy at the same time. Ozzy's sitting here, and Motley Crue's in the back where the back autograph wall is.
The place had to be.
And then Ozzy's drumming, Carmen Peace, was upstairs teaching a master drum class, and police had barricades around all our buildings. And
I'm sure.
yeah,
How did these connections happen though? Like these guys walk in, like they walk into a lot of stores, I'm sure.
yeah.
But they keep coming back here. I mean,
Well, they were doing official in-stores where they agree to autograph.
Okay.
And they pose with pictures with the fans if they want to.
Yeah. But I remember at one point in my radio career, I was around the country station in town. I wasn't on that, but we were in the same building, and Sheryl Crow came by, and she shopped here, but she came to shop here. She wasn't doing an in-store. And that's what I'm saying is like the reputation of what the guitars were, that it's got this iconic, everything about it is so authentic. You're not going to find it anywhere else.
In her case, she was after kind of a rare guitar. It wasn't old, but it was limited. It was a Buck Owens signature model Fender.
Okay.
And she couldn't find it anywhere in the country, and we had one. So she come charging in.
So she came in.
But she's very brilliant. She's pointing to all the guitars, the vintage ones.
Yeah.
That's a 59. That's a 62. Like, do it.
Really?
Better than most of our
Yeah,
employees.
sure.
We got to look it up in the book. But
Well,
we're pretty good at it.
Yeah, but I mean,
But she
I
knew her
couldn't
stuff.
tell. Yeah.
She knew her stuff.
That's impressive. Is there anybody that you met along the way that sort of disappointed you? That you thought maybe I'm a little disappointed. I know you're a huge, by the way, Bob Dylan fan. Have you ever had Bob ever come to the store?
Not that we know of, because
Okay.
a lot of times he travels in incognito.
Yeah. Now I grew up down near Woodstock.
Okay.
So as a kid, it was like I would hear stories of Dylan all the time, and he wasn't there when I was growing up, but he had been there, and the band was still there, Levon Helm and all. And I always got, like, as a child, I always go, here we go with another Bob Dylan story from people. But the music was great. He was a great is a great storyteller.
Great writer.
Yeah. I mean, is that your favorite?
He's one of my favorites. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
In terms of,
I look up to him as a great writer.
yeah.
And I got to getting to like him. It takes a little while because he sounded a little bit like a hillbilly in the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
not a pretty voice, but his voice is effective, even though he don't sing really well, but it's very effective. So his words stand out when he does them,
Yeah.
But so many people were having like top 10 hits off him, like Peter, Paul, and Mary exploded with Blowing in the Wind.
Yeah.
And then, the Birds with Tambourine Man.
Man, right.
One after another, Hendrix with All Along the Watchtower. They're all Dylan written songs,
Yeah.
And a guy in Rochester, this might be interesting. Spider John Kerner lived in Arundecoit on Harvington Drive.
Okay.
But he was on Electra in the early days, kind of right before Dylan.
Yeah.
And he was in the Minnesota scene, and he was helping teach Bob things on the guitar
Really?
before Bob hit New York.
Wow.
But when Bob hit New York, he was crashing at everybody's apartments.
Yep.
He was struggling and very close to the streets. He was, he's playing in places, well, maybe this club will feed me and let me sleep in the back, that kind of thing. I mean, he didn't make it with instantly either.
No, and I'm hearing you talk about Dylan, but I'm thinking of yourself too. Did you said you always knew you'd be successful with this.
We felt we would be.
Yeah, but did you think you'd be here?
We didn't know how big it would go, but we had a lot of confidence.
Yeah, you just can't think otherwise.
Yes.
Outside of here, because you seem to have a lot of artistic talent.
Thank you.
Do you do, there's other things. There's painting,
Yes.
correct?
Yep.
Right? You do artwork and still do art shows from time to time?
Yeah, I did one in Brooklyn. I think it was, 3 years ago? 5 years ago. I have no concept of time. But at a good major gallery, and we showed up for the opening, like for 3 days we were there. But we sold enough House of Guitar shirts and everything to cover our trip, hotel, and everything.
Wow.
But we got a lot of press on it. We played telephone in the morning the day before, like leaving. And we used to get people on the phone, but now we just leave messages. My name is Armand Schaubroeck. I'm an ex-con, blah, blah, blah. I got paintings on prison, and I'll also be there with a Rikers Island guard who does photography. And we're having a show at,
And that got them out.
Yeah,
sure.
Reporters were coming, and
yeah. This is great coverage. Someone told me, well, I'll ask this first. Certainly when you get to the level that you get, there are going to be rumors about different things, either the store or yourself.
Yes.
What is the weirdest rumor you ever heard about yourself?
Oh, I don't know. So many of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just things that you would look at people and go, why, where did that come from?
I know.
Yeah, I would think that has to be, but did it bother you? Because you seem to be a little bit more of a private person.
Yeah, I'm quiet.
Yeah.
Naturally, but I'm not shy though, but I am quiet. But I don't know. Sometimes they come up with something, and they say they were with me.
Yeah.
When did we do this?
You have more friends than you knew, right? I mean,
yeah, the stories go wild.
Yeah, that's got to be. But I did hear.
That probably scared the town some too. Maybe that's why they.
Well, where we're sitting was a Grange Hall, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
The farmers all built the Grange Hall together.
Right.
And then they used to sell their vegetables out front in trucks back when we had subway tracks there and then on Titus.
Okay.
But they'd sell their vegetables out of the truck, and inside here where we're sitting now, they used to have square dancing.
Yeah.
And different performers performed.
Well, I grew up in a small town downstate. Yeah. We had a Grange Hall.
Right.
There were usually small towns that had that, and a lot of farming and agricultural, right, more or less.
Then I'm trying to think of what. Oh, the Masons used to have meetings on the second floor.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm not sure what all that it's about, and it's kind of secret. But,
it is secret.
But they had little platforms when we came in, and we heard they sit on chairs with goat legs and all these, and something to do with the winds, the four winds, and whatever.
So did you ever find anything left over when you moved in here?
Just like a lot of cabinets that had the G on it.
Yeah.
And then those 4 platforms were there, still in place on the second floor. But a lot of presidents were Masons. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
But they just looked out for themselves, kind of. And then someone from the Grange from years ago kept an insurance policy on House of Guitars at old 1800 rates. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
And it wasn't a big one. It wasn't enough to cover all our insurance, but they wanted to be part of it still and kept this policy going for quite a few years.
That's funny.
At insane rates.
Yeah.
I mean, $20 a year,
Man, you're not going to get that anywhere.
No.
I was told that you were friends with Andy Warhol.
Yes, he was interested. I did
How does that come about?
I
could see where the two of you probably can,
I got along with him very well.
Yeah, sure.
But he's kind of like the underground master or something.
Yes,
you know? And he's used to dealing with unknowns rather than famous people.
Right.
So I recorded a play by the rock opera where we do a little acting and it leads to a song, and then we play it, and then we go on to our next scene, and it kept going for 3 records. And at first, he was going to be an Andy Warhol Presents, and
so he heard your rock opera. How did you get that?
I sent it to him.
You sent it to him.
This is kind of funny because I called the Rundle Library and Who's Who and had him look up his address, and his phone number and everything was in there.
That was modern day Google, right?
Yeah. And I
the
called
old
him
day
on the
Google.
phone, but it was at his house. He lived with his mother.
He did?
He lived with his mother, and
And so you called right to his house?
right to his house, and his mother's going, Andy, you got one of your friends are on the phone. And I got there, and I said, well, my name is Armand Schaubroeck. I got in trouble as a kid, as a youthful offender. I'm not a convicted felon. I got a youthful offender status. They offered us a YO, they call it, and you can plead guilty to leading like a bad life. You're not pleading guilty to the crime.
Yeah.
Then you don't have a record.
Okay.
Like I'm not a convicted felon.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a way out. It's just such a technicalities. It's so silly.
Yeah. It's a plea deal. They didn't catch us at the scene and offered us a plea deal, but then they gave us the worst they could give us, kind of.
Yeah. So you tell him this.
Yeah, and I got this tape and then I sent it to him, and he started going wild and started calling our little store down the street here, back in the the middle '60s, and he said, "Please come to New York right away." And then we went to New York, and he's talking a play and everything, and he wanted us to sign up on an off-Broadway thing for where we would work 7 days a week for over a year. But the only thing is, it was just Bruce and me pretty much, and one employee, Bob Huber back then, and they were all in the play, so we didn't want to close House of Guitars because that's our breadbasket,
Right.
our baby.
Right. So he wants you to come to New York and do this.
Yeah,
but you need the guys here to keep running it.
Right, there's no one left. It'd be Bruce and just one other person. Our business was huge. So I kept trying to talk him into a movie. It's backwards because usually you do a play, then you sell movie rights,
Right.
and you sell soundtrack rights, and it goes like that. That's the best way to get the most out of it. But I was trying to switch him. After a while, he started humoring, and finally he said, "I got a prison we could shoot it in," and it sounded good because I could go there for a period of time and
then
come back.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, he even said, I knew John Hammond from Columbia, and he had a lot of interest too in it. He's the guy that signed Bob Dylan and Springsteen and Stevie Ray Vaughan and Son House. I had something to do with signing Billie Holiday's. He signed Robert Johnson's Son House.
And so this guy's interested now in your rock opera as well.
Yeah. And I said, Andy wants you to pay for the whole play for soundtrack rights, and he started stuttering. I said, should I tell Andy no then? And then he's a real nice guy. I mean, I don't mean to disrespect him. He's a real nice guy, and he said, well, tell Mr. Warhol when it's ready, we'll come and see it.
Okay.
So it ended like that. But then that girl came in and shot him, and he almost died. He was in a hospital for over a year, and it was 50-50 whether he'd live or die,
Yeah.
And the girl also shot a Paris art dealer in the arm, And I knew Andy kind of helped her get a publishing deal, but she hated men and her manifesto or whatever
Men Manifesto.
But she
Wow. So
there was something wrong with her a little bit because Andy has helped her.
Yeah.
I don't think he was even taking a cut. I think he just helped her, and she charged in and shot him point blank in the chest 3 times, and a Paris art dealer in the arm, and
yeah. And during that, is that sort of the end of your rock opera foray with him, or does it come back?
it kind of comes back. But I did.
Give me 1 second. See how professional I am? I realized I didn't plug in the cameras, so the audio wasn't going to the cameras. I know. But while I got you here, Cobblestone on Main in the village of Webster, 109 West Main Street. Oh, I love going in there. Upscale bar, fun to hang at, craft cocktails, craft brews, and just a great atmosphere. The food is delicious. Let's say you just want something like an appetizer. Their nachos are second to none. They don't get soggy. It was like an amazing thing when we did the pod out there and we were eating, and everybody's like, hey, these are the best nachos ever. They really are. But it's not just the nachos. Let's say you're looking to have a little more intimate dining. Nice table for two in the back, and the entrees are fantastic. Here's one of the great things about Cobblestone on Main. It's locally sourced menu items. You know, I love when local is supporting local. That's what happens over at Cobblestone on Main. 109 West Main Street in the Village of Webster. Upscale bar, intimate dining, perfect for you.
Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Route 96 in Victor, and online at victorcdjr.com.
Hey, man, have you checked out the Plug in the Eastview Mall? They got the hottest kicks in town. They got the hottest New Balance. Oh, yeah? No, New Balance. Yes, they're hot right now. New Balance. They got them. They got all the Jordans you want, the Nikes, the Yeezys, an entire wall of Yeezys, which, by the way, are some of the most comfortable shoes I've ever had on my feet. You can find them in the Eastview Mall. You got kicks you want cleaned up, starting to look a little ragged. They can do that. They can take care of it right there at the Plug. Easy to find in the Eastview Mall. The Plug. We're back, and Armand was telling us about Andy Warhol after he got shot.
When I got out of the house, when he got out of the hospital, I went there, started seeing him again, and he let us right in. But his paranoid, I noticed the whole thing was so secure. Like, he had an elevator door, and he had to hit a doorbell on the elevator door, and then they'd open. Then you walk 4 feet. Then it was a total metal thing with bulletproof glass. He hit
yeah. Well, you can't blame the guy.
No, I don't blame him at all. Right. So, and he's kind of like didn't want the street people near him anymore. But there was Time magazine and sitting there like in a $200 suit, and all these people waiting for him. And he opens the door, and I was with some strange characters. I had Rick Radman, he's on the thing, but he weighs like 300 pounds. He's about 6'4", and he goes, Armand, come on in. Oh, first he goes, come on in. Then Time went to cut in front of us. Then he said, no, Armand and his friends.
Wow.
So he still helped me, even though, he was no longer Andy Warhol Presents because I put it out already. But he still helped me, and I went on the Joe Franklin show on Channel 9 in New York, WPIX 11 News.
I knew Channel 11. I grew up,
Yeah, they charged into my hotel room, and it was a little embarrassing because we had a lot of empty beer bottles all over the place.
That's fine.
And then their public radio station played my whole triple album after they interviewed me with nothing censored, and it was full of a lot of F words and everything to make it real. I can't say "old darn" in prison,
No.
So I had to keep it real, and they just made an announcement that if bad language disturbs you in any way or sexual situations or anything, please turn your radio off for the next 3 hours and 25 minutes.
Wow!
Gave a warning and then played it. Straight on.
What was it at night? Usually there was something called
daytime.
Daytime,
yeah. They
radio,
interviewed me
FCC?
for a long time before it.
Yeah.
Too.
So where does that all go? Where is that now? The Rock. I had no idea you did that.
Oh, it's out as a 3-album set.
It is.
Yeah.
Here at the House Guitars, can I buy it?
Yeah, sure.
You can,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And then, so through all that, and Andy Warhol, did you spend time with him after?
Yeah, he kept helping me. And
did he ever come up here?
No, he almost did. He got jealous once. I said, a second cousin of mine, Robert Conji's he might be able to shoot some scenes in that. And he called the Paul Morrissey, who was kind of his partner that did the movies.
Yeah.
He goes, Paul, we're going to Armand. What is the name of that town? Arundequoit. We're going to Arundequoit. All I'm thinking is, I'm going to bring in the McGreals, the Laughlins.
Yeah. Give him the tour.
We're going to shoot some footage.
Yeah.
But he got shot before that happened.
Wow. It's an amazing. You ever look back on your life and go, boy, this has been an unbelievable ride.
Yeah.
With interesting people. And
like I was lucky in that way,
Yeah.
But I used to call people, I called Norman Mailer, talked to Norman Mailer.
Really?
Jimmy Breslin, talked to him.
You just call them up.
Call them up, tell them my story. Yeah.
Yeah, and you were pretty much marketing yourself.
I had
you
to.
were
No one
PR.
else would.
Yeah, no one else would. But then you go along, because then there was the record label that I believe you still have.
Yeah.
With the House of Guitars.
Right.
See, but you helped others try to get sort of almost the way Andy was helping you.
Kind of, but a lot of them were very talented.
Yes.
Like we did Don Potter over
Yep.
the Rainbow on our label, and Don just ended a Columbia contract. That kind of happened because I was talking to Epic about introducing Bat and Don, because they weren't printing it anymore.
Yeah.
And then they told Don, and then Don called me, and he says his record contract's over in a few months. So then I talked to him about doing a record at PCI, and he brought John LaBarbera, he's a real good writer he can write the score for every instrument, So he was a treasure to have. And we did it at PCI, and then we had a simulcast. We videoed it too, and we had a simulcast later with Channel 13 with MJQ.
Yep.
So you could listen in stereo.
Oh,
They're on
wow.
the phone together. 3, 2, 1, and they
So you
both
had
hit
TV and radio
at the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah.
What year was this?
Probably around 73. maybe.
73.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry, 78.
Okay,
78.
still, but yeah. So the technologies, but that had to be. So
Well,
that would have to be pretty big for the time.
I don't know about technology, but they're just sitting on the
Well,
phone.
that's what I mean. It's like trying to sync that up, right?
Yeah, they'll sync because
Yeah.
they're both hitting play at the same time.
Right. That's funny.
Yeah.
So-
But it worked good. I mean, you had big speakers next to your TV, and you kept the TV off if you wanted.
How did you get them to agree to do that?
I don't know. I talked to Nick Nixon, and he's the one that helped me with MJQ, and
Yeah.
13 was interested because of Don.
Uh-huh.
And then 21 called us after, and I said, "Oh, you want to run it?" And they said, "Well, no, we want to do a whole new one. We're going to pay the band real good." And then I said, "Sure."
Yeah. So did you end up almost managing some of these guys as well?
No. I wasn't into managing.
Yeah.
I left them free there.
Yeah. But see, all of this, it's incredible because it's all this.
But we helped them. Yeah,
But we know the House of Guitars. We don't really. I didn't know about the rock opera. I didn't know about the artwork stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Just all these other things. Where's the time? Everybody's only got 24 hours in a day. I know
Yeah.
your sons work
Yeah.
here now, and so you have a family.
Yeah.
You've got all that. Where did the time?
Then we were doing Chesterfield Kings.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and Immaculate Mary.
Yes.
And then Dirty Looks we grabbed. They were a Pennsylvania band, and I sent a tape to Z-Rock. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like a
It was a
satellite
syndicated thing
radio
because I almost
by
got.
satellite.
Yeah, it was by satellite. So there was a station in Poughkeepsie, and they brought in Sebastian Bach.
Okay.
In person. So I'm at this station called WPDH in Poughkeepsie, and I'm down in some club, and Sebastian Bach shows up, and it's that radio station's night. It was the first exposure to like a radio war because I'm 20 or 21 years old, and here comes Sebastian Bach, and he's grabbing the microphone like out of my hand because I'm supposed to be making announcements for the radio station, and I wound up getting almost in a fist fight with Sebastian Bach, and I always go back in my head like, how does that happen? But it was Z-Rock. Yeah.
Z-Rock,
Yeah.
yeah.
That syndicated, it was everywhere.
Well, anyways, they were pounding it, my cassette.
Yeah.
Pounding it in drive time in Los Angeles, Chicago, New York City, the whole country. And Billboard called and interviewed me about it. And I just said, push their group. They're, very good group. They got a little bit of feel of AC/DC, but I think they write better songs, not so much anthems, but they get some tricks, where they take some oldies and, I can't take my eyes off you. Suddenly he's in this metal song or something.
Yeah. That is a trick. That is something, but it's almost like ear candy that people would
right, that's right,
recognize, and
that's
you would
right.
almost be listening
But
for that.
the writer's smart enough to do that kind
Yeah.
of stuff,
Yeah.
And I heard that before.
Right. So what would you say is your key to success? Because in a way, it almost feels like you just followed what just felt right, and it just all worked out. I'm sure somewhere along the line there was a stumble or something, but you learn. It seems like it's been I find you fascinating. Like,
Oh, thanks.
Fascinating. Like you're writing this and doing that, and it just always just kind of creating.
I have to kind of see how I can help the band do it. I have to have a little plan in mind, or can I do it? And sometimes I can't. I don't have a
Right.
But other times but I don't give up. And I don't put no heat in the bands, like we're not making money at none of that stuff. And we just keep going and pushing to it breaks. If the band stays together long enough,
Right.
we're cool. We're gonna make it.
Yeah.
But I have to see the angle kind of. I have a little plan. I could do something with that kind of feel.
Yeah.
That's
interesting.
Then Bat came to us because Bat wanted to turn from folk to country, so he put out an album called Mr. Right, and then he had a top 10 hit with. They took one of Wyona Judd took one of his songs and he had a top 10 hit. Then Kenny Rogers took one of the songs and put it on his album that Bat wrote, not off of my album, but things he wrote particularly for them. But all of a sudden it was happening because it's real hard to change your image in front of the public. Yeah, if you're a folk singer and suddenly you're country, the public don't go for it.
No, they don't. It's people don't like change.
So we had to do the best we could, but he had the right people behind him besides me. He had, people on his end from Nashville.
Yeah. And then on the other side of that, you've got, so the House of Guitars, originally just guitars, so you've got that whole business.
Yep.
When do you expand into kind of the record side of things? Not so much your record label, but where you're selling.
Oh, we did right away.
Right away.
Right away, even in my basement.
We
had a section of records,
Okay. And then that just slowly, so everything just kind of just went.
Yeah.
Right to where that's it's amazing. It always, because, a lot of times you hear different people, I had to grind, I had to do this. I'm sure there was.
Sure.
And you've talked about it, starting in your mom's basement and going along, but it almost seems like the whole journey's been a pleasure. For the most part. Yeah.
There's some strains in it, but like deadlines. I'm not much for deadlines.
Yeah, right.
And just the things that affect everyone, like deadlines and things like that.
Yeah.
And problems come up, and we just take care of them.
How was it for COVID with the House of Guitars?
We did whatever we were allowed to do. We never. Well, I think we had to shut down for a couple of weeks, but the moment they said you could deliver to a car, suddenly we were bringing guitars and every accessories and selling them. And
I got to think a lot of people started playing guitar, maybe, or
a lot. Well, during COVID, all collectibles like records went way up in price. All the used, and all the baseball cards and all the autographs.
I didn't know
stuff.
that.
It went crazy because people had nothing to do in their houses, so they were buying all these collectibles, and the prices were soaring,
Yeah. Who would you say is kind of the biggest influence on your life when you look at things?
I don't know.
Was there anybody? I think I honest to God, I know a lot of people.
Yeah.
I don't know that I know anybody who really went to the beat of their own drum and just kind of did what they did.
Well, Warhol was important. I mean, I saw the way he operated, and it was so different. It's Warhol kind of say, well, yeah, we'll do it, and then put it on Paul Morrissey to really do it.
For somebody to really execute.
It was like
that,
his partner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Paul would be in Europe shooting movies because it was non-union in there.
Okay.
And Andy's on the phone at night and talking about Dracula. Wouldn't it be nice if he couldn't eat, or he could only drink virgin's blood, and if he might die if they weren't a virgin, because he's a count and all these girls are after him.
Yeah,
because he's rich, and
that's an interesting.
And all these girls are lying, and then the count's rolling around, throwing up all over the room. And
so Andy's the idea guy. Yeah. Paul was the executioner of those ideas. Yeah,
they were great together.
Yeah, it's a great tandem. right?
Not that Andy wouldn't. I mean, he did his own art and everything.
Sure, yeah.
Well, I can't say that, too. He's walking around in the studio, and he's going, oh, that's very nice. He's got all these runaway art students. Just add a little green or pink to here, and they do it. And then he goes along and signs them all. So that's why he called it the factory.
That's very interesting. I didn't know that at all.
Oh, he's funny. He was painting with metallic paint one time, paintings.
Yeah.
This is in a little bit of later years, and he's planning to pee on all of them. He's calling them the pee paintings.
Okay.
Well, and he can't pee that much. He's telling me, so he got a bunch of people off the street to pee on his paintings, and he's paying them. And the acid in the pee would corrode the metal paint and make it turn colors. Kind of little green in it and red.
Please tell me he sold this for millions of dollars.
Oh, they were in a Paris art gallery, all on display, and we just call them the pee paintings.
But did you know? Did people know?
Yeah.
But did they know that it wasn't Andy who peed on them?
Yeah.
Oh, they did?
He told reporters, I think.
Oh, he did.
I couldn't pee that much.
Yeah.
I plan to pee on all of them. He's giving them money and bottles of wine.
Yeah.
And they're going up to the second floor. There's a line.
What a character.
Oh, yeah. And then the factories at our party all night.
Yeah.
And he leaves, and this I didn't understand about him. I had a lot of opportunities in the early days, but I was trying to keep it business.
Yeah.
But he wanted me to go to his parties with him all night, and I was trying to keep it business.
Yeah.
But I was wrong. That's how he helps you make it.
Yeah. Because he connects you to people in a more casual setting. Yeah.
This is the president of Warner Brothers Pictures. Armand, you should do a movie on Armand's story.
Yeah.
That's how he does, and he acts that casual too.
Yeah.
But they listen.
Is there any regrets?
Just that. Because every time he'd ask me, I'm going to a bunch of parties. Armand, would you come with me? And I go, oh, no, I'll see you tomorrow afternoon.
Were these like Studio 54 days?
Yeah. But he was always doing them,
Yeah. And you never went?
Never went with him. I blew it on that one.
Well, I mean, you're doing what you think is right at the time in terms of business, but
trying to keep it all business.
See, I'm such a sucker for a party that I.
Oh yeah,
I think I
me too, but I don't want to make a fool of myself.
Well, that's the other thing. There is that risk.
I'd be on duty.
It's a fine line you got to walk.
Yeah, I'd be a professional. I'm on duty.
That's very funny. But okay, another room. Two more things. I'll just touch on these two things, and I'm sure you got a million things to do today. Did you run for Senate?
Yes, I ran for Senate, 53rd District.
Of New York?
Yes.
When was this?
72. And
72.
Senator Laverne was the senator at the time.
Okay.
But I ran against Gordon DeHaan and a Catholic priest. And we had debates and everything on television. But I ran into trouble there, too, because they wouldn't talk about the things I wanted to talk about. And the reporters at the television stations have a preview thing with the two major candidates, and they decide what to talk about.
Oh, and so you weren't one of the major candidates. So
no.
Did you
But we were all debating on the same floor, though.
Yeah. Did you know what they were talking? Did they give you here's what we're going to talk about ahead of time, or were you were surprised?
Yeah, no.
Well, that sounds like sabotage.
Well, they don't pay a whole lot of attention. Yeah, you got equal time, but it's their questions and all that is already set up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What did you learn from that kind of experience? Was there anything you left?
I didn't like how it was set up like that. I felt funny about it. Like that ain't pure news.
No, it's not. And how about politics in general for you?
Yeah, it's all
kind of spoil it for you a little bit.
Yeah. Well, not spoil it. I pulled a non-talk thing, and they took the camera off me. Then they turned my mic off. And if you don't behave, we won't turn your mic back on. Right in the middle of those Sunday morning shows.
Wait a second. What did you do? You turned your mic off?
I would talk about the subjects I wanted to anyway.
Yeah.
And they took the camera off me while
Okay.
going on, and then they
shut your
threatened
mic.
to turn my mic off. Then they did.
Wow. And then that stuff doesn't make you. Some people would acquiesce to that. You know what I mean? Give in. You're just holding your own, just going, no, that's not what I want to talk about. So you let them turn off the mic? That had to be.
Yeah.
Are you amused
And then they
by
said
that
if
stuff?
I behave, they'll turn it back on. I said I will.
Yeah.
And then they turned my mic back on.
What were the issues that you wanted to talk about?
Prison reform. There was a lot of things against gay people that were ancient.
Yeah.
1700s stuff. Was
Yeah.
more than 3 on a street corner. They could all be arrested and
What?
thrown in jail.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Ancient stuff, that made no sense.
So if they had 3 gay people on a corner, you could get arrested just for being gay. Okay, that's all right. So, and you were saying things like, this is wrong.
This is wrong. This is, and the Gay Alliance was running. I was making radio ads for them, and they're running them on different stations. 1 out of 3 people have homosexual tendencies.
Yeah.
It could be your mother, your father, your sister, your best friend.
Okay, that had to freak people out at the time.
Well, I just did. I believed in what they said. And,
Yeah.
And they were running it, on different stations in the city when I was running, and then we had crazy posters and in pins that said "Learn a new lick." I meant it's guitar lick.
Yeah, but they took it the other way. Okay, so you've always kind of pushed against the grain a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Building a house of guitars where you could actually touch and play the guitar and do that against the grain.
Yeah.
And then you go here. That's a progressive mindset for 1972.
Yeah,
In terms
well,
of, you know what I mean? Right now.
that was back in the 60s.
Oh, back in the 60s.
Well, 72 when I ran for office.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like when you ran for office,
Yeah.
that's progressive for the time with being forward about equal rights for gay people or even trying to change some archaic laws and
The
things.
Liberal Party trusted me.
Yeah.
And they said, well, you can talk about anything you want, and don't. And then I said, well, I might not agree with the liberal stance all the time.
Right.
And they said, that's okay.
Yeah.
Just do it.
How old were you at that time?
I'm not sure. Probably still 72. I don't know. 30 something.
Okay. All right. But a young man
Yeah.
compared to probably stodgy old guys who have held office
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
They didn't want anything to do with you.
No, definitely not.
That had a kind of.
They were nice to me, though.
I'm
they
sure.
were,
Well, there's something
polite.
there's
Yeah.
something that seems to have left our society.
Yeah.
Civility. I feel like in society there isn't, and so even if somebody doesn't agree with you, they still would be civil towards you. Now it's awful the way people treat each other. But I think that to me is interesting that you've always sort of politely, I'll say, pushed against the grain.
Yes.
Yeah, politely.
Yeah, I wouldn't try to wreck a program or
No.
anything.
No.
Yeah.
But that,
Yeah.
wow. That's an inner strength, man, because, people at that time didn't want that stuff.
I know.
Didn't want to recognize it, didn't want to hear about it, didn't want to, we're still just coming out of just all the stuff with black people in America at the time. It's just that acceptance, right? There's still, boy, you talk about hatred for people for no reason other than you exist.
Well, I went across the country on all news stations from Chicago to New York City to California and talked about my record, and they'd pull me into
a political.
how does black and whites get along in prison? And I go, they hate each other, Yeah. On an all-black television station. But, I'm saying when there's tension going on, I might have a best friend that might be a black guy that a cell next to me, but I can't talk to him or he can't talk to me during the tension and the riots. Because if I talk to him, white people are going to attack me.
Yep.
And if he talks, black people are going to attack him and take him out.
Yeah.
So, there's always that tension going on.
Right.
And we both understand. So the next, maybe for a week, we don't talk to each other. then all of a sudden we're back like it never happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So is that time in reform school or reform?
Well, it's maximum security prison.
They sent you to maximum security prison?
Yeah, machine gun nests, the walls, the dogs in the between the
Holy
wall
shit.
and the.
Wow. Well, that really seemed to have quite an impact on your life in terms of even politically later on.
Well, I
to
always
try
did
to
what I
change
wanted, and suddenly I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, right. No, well, I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, even afterwards, trying to get reform, trying to do good by the
Yeah, I was trying to tell them, for prison reform, I was saying that work with the unions as much as you can, but allow the inmates to earn their own money. Part of it could go to the victim of their crime.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And maybe they can start out silk screening T-shirts and jobs like that from the public, but don't kill the union. Try to work with them,
right?
And then maybe somebody like Kodak could bring in a shop there and pay them pretty decently, and they could support their own family instead of government checks going there.
Yeah.
And I said they're all going to come out someday. What kind of condition do you want them in?
Right. That's a great point.
Want them to. Well,
it's supposed to be
first person that steps in his way is going to kill him.
Well, it's supposed to be reform, right? We're supposed to.
There's
no
reform.
No, there's not.
That's his bull.
Yeah, it is, and it's supposed to try to get you ready to come back into society.
And the inmates are trying to break you, and the guards are trying to break you. It's that it's a.
Well, how old were you when you went in? How old were you?
17.
17. That'd be one of the scariest things in the world for you.
Oh yeah. It is scary, yeah. I could say murderers and everything, but most of them are normal people. They just lost control for a few minutes,
right?
But they're not like you think,
No, right.
But everybody's in there.
Wow. So I see. So it's that kind of thing where I almost feel maybe I'm wrong.
It's about maybe 85% New York City in there.
Okay, yeah. Well, that makes sense. It's a bigger part of the state, right? Bigger population. But for you, you seem to have a lot of empathy for people where you will try to help them out, meet them halfway, do that sort of thing. Another rumor I had heard was Metallica, when they did the Kill 'Em All album, and they recorded it here in Rochester.
They did.
They came here.
Yeah.
But they didn't have money.
No, they came from California. That's where they're from. And there's a studio in the city.
Was it Dejalon at the time? Or?
No,
I don't know.
No. Music America.
Okay.
Music America studio with Paul Curcio. He ran it, and he used to be in the Mojo Men in the 60s.
Yep.
But he's passed away now. But they recorded there, and they gave him an old house for free to stay in. Mm-hmm. So that's why they picked Rochester, I think.
Okay.
But they didn't have a laundromat, so they did their laundry down the street each week, and they'd hang here where their laundry was washing.
Yeah.
And they'd be looking at guitars, and I'd say, "Can I plug it in for you, man?" And they go, "No, man, I ain't got no money. I don't want to waste your time." We go, "That's okay. You can plug in."
Yeah.
And then they came back at a later time when they were filling venues and spent $70,000 on vintage guitars,
Really?
They get new ones for free, but they want all the
vintage stuff. Yeah. Where do you get the vintage from?
Bands and people selling them and trading them in.
Does anybody go now on eBay or anything and try to hunt these things down?
The public does.
No, I don't know if anybody here at the H.O.G does.
We watch it
from one time.
If something's reasonable, but we got to get it at a price where
there's some cool artifacts around here, like Jimi Hendrix pants.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And then
Elvis
Presley's pants, but those were motorcycle?
They were motorcycle pants. Whenever he rode his motorcycle around Graceland, he wore those pants. And they actually came from the Beatles, because when the Beatles visited Elvis, they gave him he gave them to McCartney. Uh-huh. And then McCartney gave them to Denny Lane for his birthday.
Okay.
And then later, Denny Lane needed equipment, and he came here, and he traded in the pants and all kinds of stuff.
Wait, so you did a swap?
Yeah, for keyboards and stuff.
So Denny Laney's in what bands are Denny in?
Moody Blues.
Moody Blues, that's right.
Then
That's right.
And then Paul McCartney Wings.
Yeah, and Paul
So
McCartney's
that's how
Wings.
Paul knew
Okay,
him
so that's
good.
how he got the pants from
Yeah.
Paul?
From Paul, yeah.
Holy man, somebody needs to do the 6 Degrees of Armand. Like all the people you're connected to throughout history.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So wait, you did a swap?
Well, we gave him some money, too. But we bought more than that from him, other things he had, too.
Oh, wait, so you bought the pants from him? Or you were
We
exchanging?
gave him money, but he got a keyboard in the deal.
Okay.
He needed equipment,
Yes.
really. But he
So-
got a little money and a bunch of equipment.
Okay, but what were you going to do? You never sold the pants.
Oh, we won't.
You won't?
We just put it up there for the public to
And
see it.
to see.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. And then got Jimi Hendrix's pants.
Yeah. From a
Hey.
party, right? That he left them
He
somewhere. I
left them at a
remember?
Moody Blues party.
Oh, that was a Denny
Denny
as well?
Lane, yeah.
Did that come in the same transaction?
Yes.
This is so cool. That is so cool. So you would, if somebody had something that was vintage,
Yeah.
you would be willing to.
They got
if they want.
It
They
has
gotta
to be
prove.
kind of proved.
Yes.
'cause anybody could just-
Authenticity. You got it.
Yeah.
The thing I always wanted, and this is terrible. I shouldn't even admit this, but somebody somewhere has to
And
have
a lot of Beatle autographs were in a book that a writer wrote about the Beatles, a Joff guy. I don't know. G. Alani or something like that. I can't think of his name exactly, but he came in with Denny, and he wrote a lot of Beatle books.
Okay.
This is in the 70s, and we
And so
traded him some stuff and gave him some money
for the books.
for autographed
Yeah.
photos and stuff.
And that's just stuff you'll keep.
Oh,
So-
the John Lennon military jacket
Yes.
was in his book.
Okay.
A picture of it in his book.
And so
It's another one it's not the one on the cover of Sgt. Pepper, but John owned more than one, and that one he showed in his book. John sent it to him to do.
Okay.
He was also, I think, the Ronald McDonald clown in Canada.
who was this guy who wrote the
Yeah.
book?
Yeah. But he do a lot of charity stuff.
Sure.
And sometimes
Yeah.
they give him stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, how do you put a value? Is there a value you can put on a Jimi Hendrix pants or Elvis's pants?
Oh, it would be crazy today.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm thinking, and I'm thinking even when you bought it and exchanged money and
Yeah.
the guitar, your value's only what somebody's going to pay for it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but you wanted that stuff.
But yeah, we got to. I mean, we're giving a pretty lot for it for those days. But
Yes,
today
I'm sure.
it's nothing. We couldn't.
You couldn't.
We couldn't go near it today.
Yeah.
You know? It wouldn't be practical. Let's say.
Still, sort of, I would say like Irondequoit, not exactly on the beaten path to places, right?
Well, yeah.
You know, right? I mean, if I'm going to,
I like it.
no,
you know?
I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
a bad place.
Yeah.
That's not my point. My point is that all the artists that come here
Yes.
come out of their way to see this place.
Yes.
And the reputation.
Most of them. Yeah.
Yeah, the reputation is, you just had ZZ Top, Leonard Skinner in here.
Yeah.
Shamika Copeland stopped by, was buying albums, right? You said over the weekend.
Yeah.
And you've got, I mean, it's just, it's got to, does it ever, it's the store that ate my brain. Did it ever kind of fry your brain a little bit that all this success or at least appreciation for what you created? You don't even think about it.
We're always proud, but when they're here, see, we're like on duty.
Yeah.
So we got to be professional.
Yeah.
Can't scare them off.
Is there a staff meeting at all? I'd love to be in a staff meeting. With
No,
you.
we
There's
don't have meetings.
No staff meetings? No nothing?
No.
No. That's the kind of business I like. No meetings. I like
No
that a lot.
staff meetings.
No. What is the legacy you want to have? What do you want people to think when they think of
I
it?
don't know.
You don't know.
No, I don't really worry about that.
Yeah, I don't think you do. You do. You really are the guy that goes to his own thing and have just built something. You know, when people say you won't work a day in your life if you do what you love, do you feel like you've worked a day in your life?
I know what you mean, but at times because
I'm
you're
sure.
you're on duty
And a little
24
stress.
hours a day. You know?
Yeah, stress and the ownership, and then
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Deadlines. I got to get this ad in, or our copy won't change next week.
Yeah. Well, I remember when you used to send the ads to the radio station.
Yeah.
You would handwrite them out.
Yeah.
And it would be faxed over on House of
I
Guitars.
still do the same way.
And we're trying to figure out what's in the ad.
They're written fast, and when I'm tired.
I mean, you had to sometimes they were like a 60-second ad, so you're cramming all the words in there. It was fantastic.
They started using 3 DJs.
Oh, you did?
They did.
Oh, yeah. They did, because you couldn't, and you have to speed it up and go really fast.
But that was effective.
Yes, it was.
Especially with 2, and that was sharp.
Well, it's amazing because it worked on radio, and the TV ads were, I mean, we used to love to see them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was all authentically you. And I would say that I guess the success is just being who you are.
And my tags, like when the events are coming, I got little tags pushing this and that.
Yeah.
But free, like we got that one guy coming for from the firm and Lou Graham and that. So, I'll tag that and they'll have to do that. Make a
real
separate
fast.
Tag.
Yeah.
They'll do it any way they can do it.
Any way they can get it in there.
Yeah, I don't complain.
No.
I realize the spot they're in.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then they might rewrite it and omit a lot of sentences that maybe I'm repeating a little bit. We don't need that sentence gone.
Yeah.
Whatever they can do, I appreciate it.
Your mom, when you moved out of the basement, the store, did she see it get to sort of the way it is today?
Yeah, she saw the front building here. We had the front building at that time, so she knew we were on our way. At first she wasn't crazy about it in her house. 'Cause
I'm
she'd
sure
come home
not.
from work and
You're exhausted.
full
You
of
got
kids banging away. Neighbors are calling police.
What is it like at your house, in your own personal home? Do you have the same kind of thing?
It's pretty quiet.
Yeah, when your kids were growing up, did they have people in banging on instruments? Yeah. You seem to just be like, that's all right.
Yeah, I'm very honest with my kids. Like I didn't want them stupid, so I didn't deny
anything.
But I would
exposure is the greatest.
But
thing,
I would
think.
explain it, the goods and bads of it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, I see what you're saying with everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I think
try to stay their friend a little bit.
Yep. Yes. Not always easy to do.
Until you're too old, then they won't want to be seen with you.
Yeah, but they work here, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, this has been a pleasure for me. Thank you for taking the time.
Oh, thank you, my friend.
It's been really, really great. Armand Schaubroeck, the great House of Guitars. It is internationally known right here in Irondequoit.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You made me forget I was on air.
Yeah, well, it's just like having a conversation. That's what I like, one-on-ones.
Thanks.
Mac of all trades. Mac has a gift, and that gift to you is your time. What do I mean? You got a list. Come on. You've been adding to the list, not knocking things off the list. Why not hand the list over to Mac of all trades? Whether it's painting a room, fixing drywall, electrical, carpentry. Maybe you got a big job. Like you're like, man, I cannot stand this powder room anymore. We need a full bathroom remodel. I want one of those great toilets put in here. Mac can do all of that in his sleep, man. Mac of all trades, from handyman stuff to full carpentry work, electrical work, full kitchen and bath remodel. I mean, whatever it is, they can do it. But the point is, they give you your time back. I always figure this. We all only got so much time on the planet. We don't know when it ends. Do we want to waste it doing things we don't really want to do, like painting the room or putting up some trim? No. Mac of all trades, 585-202-9218 and online at macofalltrades.net.
BTB's wood-fired pizza and grill in the Mall at Grease Ridge.
Jimmy Z's Plates and Shakes, rockin' Brockport and open Wednesday through Sunday. Some of the best plates and shakes ever pass your lips. If you have never been to Jimmy Z's Plates and Shakes, you don't want to stand out, right? Because it can be overwhelming when you first walk in there. It's such a fantastic place, but people know what they want. They're snap, snap, snap. Here's what you do. You go to placeandshakes.com. You check out the menu. You find the munchies that you like, all the different items on there. And then you know in your head what you're going to get. I'm a big believer in act like you've been there before. Act like you belong. Got to do a little prep for that. Jimmy Z's Plates and Shakes makes it easy with plateandshakes.com. Jimmy Z's Plates and Shakes, Main Street, Brockport, and online at plateandshakes.com.